Hello, Menno from Ayaic here again. Today we're going to be doing live drums. So I'm going to show you the best way to begin your project. I had mentioned in another video that you always want to mix into your buses. So we're gonna mix into our stereo buses and into our master bus, which means that we need to set those up. So first thing, here's our master bus, and this is how you're going to want to set it up. We have a mix monolith with under master with a main fader minus 20 preset. I explained in another video why we do that. So check that out if you need to. Then we're going into the Chris Lord Algae, the mix down, followed by a Brainworks master desk. So that's our master bus is already set up, and we're just going to mix right into that from the start. Okay, then we have our individual buses here: drums, perc, bass, acoustic, guitar, all that stuff for our song. We've assigned everything to where they need to go. And the reason why we have a drums and perc is we have some percussion going, and I want the percussion to come to its own in case, later on we want to deal with that a little differently. But at the end of the day, that bus is being sent to our drums. So our percussion and our drum kit are all together in the end under as a drums. Okay. We've set up a mix monolith for every bus, and we just lock them for right now at 0 because we want them to be ready. The only one we're really going to kind of deal with is the drum bus, but we've got them all ready. And on our drums, we have put a bus compression. So we're using the solid state Logic. And we have a preset that I always use. Use whichever one you like, set it up, bring that, and then just always mix into that. Okay, so our buses are set up. So now we'll go to our individual tracks, and here's our drums. So we have our percussion as well. All right, let me unmute those. All right, so, and you can see the percussion's going there, and the drums are all going here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a monolith on each one, and you can create your own preset, but we are going to use one here called Hit the Tape. And all it is the default at minus 30 is the monolith is designed to hit your virtual tapes perfectly. So this is a gain staging use of the monolith. So we're going to have one first, and of course we're always going to have one at the end for final leveling. I'm going to turn off the duck expand because we're not going to need it, and I'm just going to copy that to all of my drum tracks, drum and percussion. Okay, now you're going to want to do this later for all of your tracks, but we are just going to deal with drums for right now. So we'll save a little time and just do these for this. Okay, and one more. All right, so that's all done, and then that's going to go into our tapes. So I think for this project we will let's use the Studer. Okay, so we'll go down here, we use a Studer tape. And the song is kind of a pop, bluesy, R&B, country. I'm going to choose country just for this. I think it's going to, the tape selection is going to work very well. All right, so now I'm going to copy that to every single track as well. All right. So, and then once we're done with this, we're going to hit Learn All Channels, which is why we locked our stereo bus monoliths, because we don't need any of those to learn anything yet. We just got them ready. Okay, so here we have kick. There's a couple presets that are we're going to want to do a little different. So let's do kick drum for that guy. Let's do kick drum for this one too. I just like the way that the tape selection and all that works. It works very, very well. Okay, all the rest of these can stay the same, and now we're going to bring up a single monolith, doesn't matter which one, and we are going to go back to the beginning here and begin playing. Hit Learn All Channels, and I'll be back in a minute. Just let the song play. Okay, here you go. Okay, so now that the song has finished, we are going to stop learning, and we are going to hit Mix for all channels. And you can see that the monolith has adjusted itself, as they all have, okay? So they've adjusted themselves to where they're going to be hitting the tape at the calibrated minus 18 dBFS, okay? So they're all hitting right at that sweet spot. Now, before we do anything else, we are going to want to lock these so that later, when we're using the monolith for our leveling, when we hit learn all channels, these do not get affected because their job is done and we're just going to lock them. Okay, now that they are all locked, we are going to start our song, and you can see, you know, nothing is mixed yet. We just use them as a gain staging to hit the tape at their optimum. So everything's going to be fine. When you use your presets now, like for saturation or whatever, they're going to work where they were designed, you know, when they created them. So, but we'll go back to country. All right, so that part is done. Now, stop. Now we're going to, before anything else, put a monolith at the end of our chain. Okay, and choose our presets. So we're going to get our tracks all set up. All right. So go ahead and do that, and we'll be right back. Okay, now that we have all of our presets set up, we have the overhead for our overheads, the kick for our kicks, snare for our snare, and so on and so forth. We have our ducking groups already ready to go. They're all assigned. Our mute groups are assigned. See, so everything is ready for send receive. So we're all ready for our ducking. And now what we're going to do is go back to the beginning of the song, and we're going to hit learn all channels on these monoliths. It's not going to affect our gain staging ones because we have locked those. And we are going to get a good mix of just the raw, un-EQ'd, uncompressed drums. And that's how we're going to start. Okay? So here we go. Okay, now that the song has completed again, we have stopped learning for all channels, and we are going to hit mix for all channels, and you can see that the applied gain has adjusted itself on all of these, okay, which is good. Whoops, I didn't mean to turn that off. So yeah, see, the applied gain has changed. So now we have a mix, just a mix of our raw drums. It did not affect our gain staging because we have locked those. And one thing before we continue on, I noticed that the kick and the tom especially could use a little gating. The toms are ringing every time the kick and snare hit. So we're going to clean that up first off. Now, you can put a gate afterwards. The gate that I like to use, I'm going to put beforehand. It doesn't change the levels. It's just going to, you know, clean up the gating. So that's why I'm doing it this way. And we have a studio kit, so we already have presets for this. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, now that that's finished, let's play the song and give it a listen. Okay, that's just all nice and raw. We're going to bring up our drum compression on our stereo bus. And we're going to set it off to the side, and we can always kind of keep coming back to it and dialing it in as we start to EQ everything in. Okay, so that's much better with the gating. Let's start here with our overheads. And how you're going to want to work now is use whatever EQs, or excuse me, compression that you like. And then, you know, either channel strips or regular compression. If you want to bring in an EQ, you know, bring up COS Pro after, use it as a guide, EQ into that, and then use COS Pro to really tighten it up because, you know, 31 and 50 band EQ, I mean, you can really, that's pretty powerful. So it's a hyper EQ, it's intense. So, but let's start here. I'm going to, you know, again, this is our studio kit. So I'm going to use the Omni channel, and we already have presets that we have set up. Our studio kit doesn't change. Okay, so this is how you're going to want to do your thing. Well, use whatever you like, but this is the process. Okay, then we're going to bring up COS Pro, and for this song, I want to use the overheads in the studio. Okay. All right, so Now you can just play the whole song, have it learn it, and then hit it, or you can just hit as you go along. Make sure that you're not going to be, peaking. And all right, so just keep going. And then also, as you're working, you want to bring up your monoliths and just have them learn real quick. Just kind of dial them in. Hit this channel. So any changes and stuff like that, that's what you'll start to do. All right. So go through and have fun. Use whatever you want. COS Pro. Come back. Always keep hitting the monolith and dial them in. Tuck it back in. See if you like that. Try a different compressor. Try different presets on your COS Pros, and make sure that your any adjustments here as you go along. And I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I have finished EQing everything. I didn't want to, for this video, I didn't want to get into the, everything that I was doing, because I was just I'm trying to show you the process. We set up our buses, our master bus. We did our gain staging monoliths to hit our tapes nice and, at the sweet spot. We set up our monoliths afterwards, and then we just go through and use whatever, like I said, whatever compressors that you liked, or channel strips. Like I used the DW, I used the Omni channel. I even used Easy Mix on a few things. But regardless, I always brought up COS Pro afterwards to either, create a preset, use a preset, or, use the guides. But you can see there's COS Pro on everything. And that's what makes your, it's so easy to work, is COS Pro and Monolith together. This is what I ended up with. Check it out. Not bad. Dial in the drums very easily, very quickly. Like I said, we mixed and went through our compressor, always checking to make sure, whatever adjustments we needed to there. Did our learn mix on our drum bus, on the monolith on our drum bus. Yeah, there you go. So even if we add reverbs and stuff to this, let's bring up a, where are you at? There we go. Let's do this guy. Let's do something nice and big. Let's put him to 20. Kind of really give you an idea as to where these drums are going to wind up, okay? Come on, 20. And you know what, let's go to artists. Yeah, here we go, look at this. Toms in here. Yeah, so drums are easy if you follow that process. Like I said, I hate to be redundant, but set up your buses, your master bus, your individual buses, gain stage with the first monoliths, lock them so that they don't move. Use whatever virtual tape you like. Go through the different presets there, dial that in. Then use whatever, channel strips or compressors. Always bring up COS Pro to make sure you're right where you need to. And then monolith after that. And as you're working, just keep doing the monolith and keep tucking them in. Make a change, tuck it in, make a change, tuck it in. And great sounding drums in a very, very short amount of time. So happy mixing.